James, can we start with you? Can you give us your thoughts on what's happened over the last kind of 24, 40 hours and where the club is at the moment? Obviously, Alex is taking the team, but why are we in this situation at the moment?
Yeah, I just think the club felt that they wanted to make a change. Obviously, I suppose people looking at the league table might say, oh, he's in a decent position, why has that been the case? But I think obviously all managers will get monitored in terms of results on the pitch, performances, how they deal with the group as well, and say with the position we're in a decent position, but the club felt that it was time for a change.
Is there, in your view and in the board's view, a rush to get somebody in before the winter break, or will it be Alex taking the team until then?
Yeah, I think obviously we'd spoke to Alex after we'd spoke to Angelo and asked if he would be good enough to take the team for the next probably 2 or 3 matches, and with us having the winter break as well, it probably gives us a little bit more time. Alex is obviously well respected within the building. The fans love him as well. He's been part of a successful management team here in the past, so we're comfortable with having Alex in charge at the minute.
Has there been any candidates identified?
No, I've had plenty of CVs sent in from managers. That's obviously one of the sides of it's not so good. The manager's probably out the door 30 minutes and you're getting CVs and getting contacts from all across the world really, but that's probably the nature of the beast as well, and there's no rush to appoint anybody, and we've not even really started to look at any of the CVs sent in.
Alex, are you interested in the job full time?
I'm just here to do my job for Kilmarnock FC. Simple as that.
But if you were asked to take it on beyond the 2 or 3 games?
I think that's something that we spoke to Alex about as well, if we'd be good enough to do that in the short term. I've been in Alex's position as well, taking over a club, and it's sometimes that you want to do the best by the club. Alex has always had the interest of the club at heart, and whether he wants the job or he doesn't, he might find that within the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's probably something that you don't know until you've actually tasted it, and it's been your, I suppose, head on the chopping block, as they may say as well, and if that's something that he wants. But say we've asked that we take the next 3 games, and then we'll monitor, we'll have close relationships with Alec, and then whatever happens after that will be. You don't want to obviously put Alec in a position where he feels that it's a trial, or it's necessarily how he does in the games. We've asked him to do the job in the short term, and then we'll deal with that probably closer to January.
The appointment of Angelo was obviously relatively left field, I feel like. Would it be fair to say that this time around the club would want to identify someone closer to home, whether that be Alex or another candidate who's familiar with the club, or at least Scottish football?
I think potentially British football is maybe something that you look at, the experience within that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a British coach. It's maybe just someone with experience of English football. We've got within the building a good knowledge of Scottish football as well, so just in terms of player recruitment, it obviously helps as well, and somebody that maybe knows the club and knows what they're coming into at the level that they're at as well, might be obviously beneficial for the club moving forward.
You alluded to at the start the reasons why the previous manager has now gone. Is it fair to say that it wasn't just on-field results or a succession of poor results?
Yeah, I think you're always, as I say, monitoring as a club the things that go on within the club. I say there was nothing major, there was not one thing. I just think obviously the performances at the start of the season obviously got off to a sticky start. They were in, had a good spell. Then obviously recently I think it's maybe 1 win in 8, which is obviously then a factor in where the club think they should be or want to be, and obviously they say sometimes you can get good performances without getting results, but I think probably the combination of the two obviously highlights that we've not scored in the last 3 games as well, so I think obviously there's just to make sure that everyone's pulling in the right direction as well, and sometimes, as I say, I've been there myself as a player, you can sometimes blame the manager. That takes probably, I suppose, any excuses away now that there's been a change in that department, and we're looking for the players to react hopefully on Saturday in the right way.
Just to clarify, you've been a manager, but you've been appointed here in a specific role. Yeah. Are you interested in becoming a manager here, or is
No. So I was obviously brought in this role, so and it's, I suppose, stability was maybe one thing I was looking for. You don't necessarily get that within the football environment, as I say, so it's not something that I'm looking to be part of. I'm sort of said to Alex, and that will be led by him if there's anything that I can do to help in the short term. If that's a little bit, if that's a bigger bit, if it's nothing at all, I'm quite comfortable with that. And I say the most important thing is that we get success on the pitch, and we all give Alec our backing.
Alex, we understand there was a disconnect between the players and Angelo, and there was perhaps an issue of respect, but lack of respect between both sides. How do you read what's happening?
All I know is that the good bunch of lads in the changing room work hard every day. The manager was well respected. You know, there was not an issue in that sense. It was just like James said, it's just time to move on, and that's what we're here to do. You know, I've got this opportunity now to pick a side and manage the team, and that's what I'm going to do.
In terms of Angelo, Alex, obviously coming over from Italy, the language barrier, was that an issue? Was there an issue?
No, it's not a problem. Everyone knew what was going on. It's not a problem. You know, we had Massimo here. If there's any problems, Massimo would translate. So it wasn't an issue. It's just the board decided to make a change, and that's it.
Do you feel at the time the morale within the dressing room, within the squad, was at a level that you didn't think something was going to happen in that sense?
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, at the end of the day, you know, I hate to repeat myself, but the club has made it's not down to the players, it's down to the football club. They made the choice, and then, you know, we just act off of that.
I think on that, if they're not getting obviously results or performances haven't been great, I think if you're getting a good spirit and you're thinking, oh, the performances are there, and maybe just not picking up results. As I say, from a board point of view or a club point of view, we've probably looked at that over the last month, 6 weeks, I suppose, as well, and that's probably been a factor in that. The spirit at times. It's great when you're winning. If you're not winning, there's always a not so good spirit probably within the building, but I say that's important that the decision's been made now and we can look to the future.
Just in terms of clarity, for you were you approached by any players to say that this wasn't working or the morale wasn't great or something had to be done?
No, but in terms of stuff like that as well, that would stay in house with me. Obviously I've got a relationship with the manager when he was here, Alex just now, whoever may come in the future as well. So I think things obviously happen within closed doors, and these things will remain private at stages as well. In
your role, how much of an impact and how much of an input will you have in the decision to appoint a new manager?
Yeah, I'll be part of that process. I'm the one that's probably receiving contact from agents, from managers, receiving the CVs as well, and then it'll be myself and the board that'll whittle that down to a number, I'm sure, to interview if that's the road they go down.
In terms of the squad, when you look at it, you know, Billy Bowie said when Angelo was appointed he had money to spend in the squad. Do you think this is a squad that needs massive change if and when a manager's appointed?
In my opinion, what I've seen, no. As I say, it's a large majority of the squad that was here last year that was really successful. There's obviously one or two additions that would help the group, but as I say, I don't think it would be a massive overhaul in January, and that's not in the planning for when Angelo was here or moving forward.
Just finally for me, Alec, you obviously mentioned that you weren't going to speak of the future in terms of this job, but in the future, would you see yourself as a number one at some point in
Yeah, of course, I'd love to be a number one at one point, but at this present time, you know, I've got this job which I want to do well. Obviously the last manager I was under, obviously before Angelo, was obviously Clarkey, and it went well, you know, and I learned a lot. And I still learned when Angelo came in, so that's what I'm here for. And I get respect from the boys. I get on well with them. We've got a good relationship out there. We did training this morning, which went well. And we just want to act on that and try and get the club back to where it was.
Alex, when you're preparing for the game ahead, what do you think needs to change from previous weeks?
Well, we need to win a game, which is obviously, you know, and also just to get the boys running and chasing and working hard again, you know, and putting a mark down like we used to. You know, everyone used to come here and they know it's going to be a hard game. We're just going to do that again.
Why has that changed?
Why has it changed? We went through that last season for a little period where we didn't win for 7 games. You know, it happens in a season. You just got to make sure you're back on track and get to that point as soon as possible, you know. So it does happen. It doesn't matter. All good teams go through a period in the season where things don't work out, you know, and this is our point. And then we've got to make sure we're on track on Saturday.
It's been hard for you the last few months. I don't know how much your role changed. You know, obviously you're an integral part of what happened with Steve in the last.
It's been alright. It's my job. It's football. You know what I mean? I'm a big boy and I'm alright.
Do you feel more inclined sitting here right now to put yourself in the frame for the job than you did back in the summer?
No, exactly the same. I'm at the same position. I'm assistant manager right now. Obviously, I'm in charge, but look, I won't be putting my name forward for the job. If the club turned around and we done well and they said, "Oh, do you want the job?" then I'll make a decision then. But I would not be putting my name out and saying I want the job.
James, you mentioned about the position that Angelo was in, but in terms of the players that he brought in using his kind of Italian contacts, if you like, Bernescu, Del Fabro and so on, would you expect any of their positions to change in terms of their commitment to the club, or would you expect the squad to largely remain?
I think the lads that you've mentioned there have been key players this season as well, and they've done really well. I think overall one of my roles will be kind of helping with recruitment. I think the summer window was, I suppose a lot of the business was done late in the window. Ideally moving forward, that will be, as I say, the plan will be in place, and it will probably be better served for the manager, whoever that may be. And it's difficult, I think, obviously, as Alex said there, coming under Steve Clarke after what he had achieved at the club with the resources was always going to be difficult, and we get that. And so you take that into consideration, and it's a bit like Alex Ferguson leaving Manchester United. It was kind of, you wanted the job after the guy that had the job after him, I suppose. So and that's happened, and it was tough. As I say, I've been in that position losing a job, but my role is here to help the manager, whoever that may be, and recruitment's a big part of that. And there will be changes January, but say I don't suspect that any of the lads that have been playing will be chapping the door looking to leave.